Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told out of Voice of Radio. So today, we need to take a little bit of a look at a new Charizard card, except it's not a new Charizard card, except it is a new Charizard card. I don't know. Let's have a gander. So this was revealed on the official Pokémon YouTube channel, and it has been confirmed that this Charizard is going to be in Sword and Shield 8B, that being VMAX Climax. That is official, that is confirmed, and initially it looks like a brand new Charizard, and then it starts looking a little bit familiar, and then for those of you outside of Japan, it's gonna twig. This is the Vivid Voltage pre-release promo, which is, of course, in and of itself just an alternate art of the Charizard from Vivid Voltage, but with alternate artwork. And it looks rather lovely. So, really, there's two questions that we need to ask ourselves here. Firstly, is this surprising? And secondly, why should we care? And incidentally, not to give too much away, but I absolutely think we should care. We'll get to that in a moment. So, should this be surprising? I've had a bunch of people over in various places suggest that it's a little bit surprising that this card's coming here. And on the one hand, I get it, because we are heading into Sword and Shield, well, in Japan, they're actually heading into Sword and Shield 9, that is Starbirth for them, what is going to be Brilliant Stars for us. That's coming after VMAX Climax, but, like 1 month after. So they're heading up into Sword and Shield 9. And Charizard from Vivid Voltage was from Sword and Shield 4. That's a bit of a difference, ladies and gentlemen. That represents, over here, that represents 5 sets. 5 sets represents, 3 months per set is 15 months. That's well over a year. This isn't some pre-release promo that came out a few weeks ago, or even a couple of months ago. This is a pre-release promo that came out well over a year ago. To put it into context, Vivid Voltage actually came out in Japan, the Japanese equivalent, in September 2020, and VMAX Climax is coming out in December 2021. So, weirdly enough, that is actually, again, 15 months. So, you're talking an alternate art reprint coming 15 months after the release of the main card. And this, incidentally, is why a bunch of people, I think understandably so, are going, well, hang on a second. That's a little bit, come on. It's been a while. And actually, this makes perfect sense. And the reason is, Japan gets pretty much everything first. There are very few cards that we get before Japan, and about the only ones we do are pre-release promos. Incidentally, there are a couple of other examples. So for instance, Champion's Path had a few, just a couple, alternate art promos, like the Duraludon, for instance, that Japan didn't have when we got them. And that means that Japan needs to find a way to get these cards. And over here, we have things like pre-release promos. We have loads of these individual packs, free pack blisters, things of that nature, where we can flick random promos. But Japan doesn't. Japan generally has kind of your gym promos, which are cool, admittedly, and we don't really get stuff like that. And then they have magazine promos. That's a thing. But they don't have these individual packs like we do. So then we kind of ask ourselves the question of, well, how is Japan going to get these cards? And the answer is in these special sets, the high-class packs. Because the last one that Japan really had was Shiny Star V. And you know what they did in Shiny Star V? Yeah, they went and got a whole bunch of pre-release promos. As a couple of examples, if we look at the Sword and Shield pre-release promos, we had Rillaboom, that was in Shiny Star V, Frostmoth, that was in Shiny Star V, Galarian Berserker, which was in Shiny Star V, and Cinccino, which was in Shiny Star V. That's generally the way they tend to do it, because they don't have many other places. Over here, if we're missing a promo card, we can go and kind of invent a product. I mean, one of the best examples we saw recently was that Marnie Premium Tournament Collection. We needed Full Art Marnie. It was taken out of Shiny Star V. What did Pokemon do? They whacked it in the Marnie Premium Tournament Collection. Not only that, but there was the autograph Marnie from the Trainer Collection over in Japan that again was a weird promo that we didn't know if we'd be getting, and that just got chucked into the set as well. We over here, the way we tend to deal with products, can do this easily. Japan can't. So this is how they tend to give out these promos. Now, there are exceptions here. Sometimes we see these coming in slightly different places. So, for instance, the Lugia from Darkness Ablaze wasn't in a set like Shiny Star V. It actually ended up over in Japan in the VMAX Battle Triple Starter set, which was kind of cool. So every so often we do see this, where Japan gets these weirder promos in this kind of way, but these are exceptions, shall we say. These aren't the rule, these are the exceptions. So to go back to Charizard specifically then, this was always going to be the case. It was always going to be that this was how this Charizard was going to be given out, unless they went for some weird other pack, because there's nowhere else really to put it. It never made sense to put it anywhere else, so it was always going to end up here. And incidentally, if you want some, really going a little bit far predictions, if you're thinking, well, hang on a second, what about newer pre-release promos coming out in the near future? Yet they're all just going to be in these high-class packs in Japan. And the next one that Japan has is going to have a bunch of them as well. We've already had confirmed that in VMAX Climax we are going to get the Flaffy that was an Evolving Skies pre-release promo. That one has already been shown off and already been confirmed. The Inteleon that was a Chilling Reign pre-release promo has already been shown off and confirmed. So at this stage, it really is just a case of this is where Japan tends to get these pre-release promos, and it's going to keep happening moving forward. And yeah, I understand that Vivid Voltage was a little while ago, but this is the way Japanese sets tend to work. We have a lot more leeway over here for random promos than Japan tends to have. So they end up getting just chucked in these sets. I gave you the example of the Duraludon from Champion's Path a moment ago. Anyone want to guess where that Duraludon ended up? Yeah, it ended up in Shiny Star V in Japan. It kind of had to end up in Shiny Star V in Japan because, say it with me, ladies and gentlemen, there's nowhere else for it to go. Which then, of course, leads us to the question of why should we care? Why do we care about this? We had this card 15 months ago as a Vivid Voltage pre-release promo. Why do we even care about it? And the reason is because the Charizard Vivid Voltage pre-release promo is not cheap. As I look, it is one of those cards that everyone that ever pulled one ended up getting it graded, so finding raw sales is actually surprisingly awkward, because seriously, right, I am going through eBay, the solds, and like the first 30 of them are all just graded ones, and that's kind of super annoying. But the last couple that were sold, a week or so ago, we had a Charizard on its own sold for $75, and a set of 4, including Donphan, Snorlax, and Lugia, sold for $158. Worth pointing out that the Donphan, as much as I love it, holds very little value, but I got a couple regular and a couple of staff, so I am good. The Snorlax holds a little bit of value, and to be fair, Lugia being Lugia is not that expensive a card, but it's also not that cheap, because it's Lugia, so it's fair to call this about a $75 card. And sure, this Charizard is going to be one of the more sought-after cards in Sword and Shield 8B in VMAX Climax, but do remember that VMAX Climax does have all of those character rares in. So people, yes, are going to be going after this Charizard, it's a cool card, but the character rares are going to be what people really want. What that means is there is absolutely a possibility here, an opening, if you will, for this Charizard to be picked up a lot cheaper than $75. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be the price of a regular holo rare. It ain't. We all know it's not going to be. But by the same token, I don't think anyone is actually expecting that it is going to be at the same level as the pre-release promo from Vivid Voltage. It is going to be a cheaper version. And this is good. Basically, what this amounts to is this card is just about to get a whole bunch cheaper. If you're a collector and you want it for the artwork, it is going to be a lot cheaper and a lot easier to get hold of this card than it has been. Because pre-release promos from 15 months ago, I think it's fair to say, not the easiest cards to actually get your hand on. Whereas, okay, even in terms of the more sought after ones, just a rare from a Japanese set, this one is going to be a lot easier to get. Yes, it is a little bit strange. I understand why people think it's a bit weird, but it also does actually make perfect sense when you look at Japanese sets. And why should you care? Well, you should care, ladies and gentlemen, because if you just want to collect this for the artwork and you're not so worried about having the Vivid Voltage stamp, this just became the best place to actually get hold of it. And let's be clear, this is kind of beautiful artwork. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. That's what you need to know. That's what I think. I would now love to know what you think. So, let me know in the comment section, would you? Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCG Radio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can do exactly that. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.